On today's episode, we're going to talk about why Hedera could 10x in price. And I know most of y'all have a price prediction that is too low. So let's dive in deep. To get started, we have to focus on macroeconomics. Coming up on September 19th, we will get a Fed cut or hike announcement. And Wall Street and all the analysts right now believe that the Fed Chair Jerome Powell will cut rates by 0.25 or 0.5 basis points. Either way, prices should soar if this happens. So check out this story here from CNBC. 7 trillion wall of cash worry is looming for investors once Fed interest rate cuts start. Why is they worried? Well, right now on apps like Robinhood or high yield savings accounts, you can get 4 to 5% on your dollar in treasury yields right there. So if all of this cash is being used to earn yield and then that rate gets lower and now you're earning, like, let's say at 3.5 or 3%, people can say, hey, we might as well move this cash to the stock market. We might as well move this cash into cryptocurrency and we can get a better bang for our buck. So 7 trillion, put that on your mind. Now, if we go into Hedera's ecosystem, we have this headline. Hedera selected for Wyoming's Frontier stable token, the first U.S. state-issued stablecoin. So you got the macroeconomics. Now we got the Hedera ecosystem economics. They're talking about Wyoming launching the first U.S. state stablecoin. Why would they choose Hedera? Hedera has the technology, it has the institutional backing, it has the low fees, everything that you need for this type of product. Now, let's go over to the price charts. We have Hedera chart lined up right here. This takeoff was from November election season. Everything went crazy around that time. You get a double top, essentially retracement until the next takeoff in July. Now, if we go zoom in a little bit, I drew this trend line. This trend line here goes back all the way to Hedera in January-ish, right? We know Hedera price chart stretches out a lot longer, but this is where it took off. We go from here, and then if we zoom in on the daily, we got a shorter trend line, and this one is from July. The first trend line here, the shorter time frame, has been broken. Now, if you know anything about technical analysis and indicators, you know that this MACD crossing signal is very bullish. Our histogram is green. Now, we're also above the 200-day moving average. This means that Hedera is in a bull market on the daily chart. Again, if we go look at this trend line here, it was broken, got 1 positive, 2 positive, and 3 positive indicators with a trend line breaking. Let me zoom in a little closer for you. We now have a cross of the 8 EMA, that's the 8 exponential moving average, crossing the 21. And prices above both of those moving averages. Now we have another good situation happening. What we want to see is Hedera break around, let's say 28 cents, right? And that's not too much of a price increase from here. It's about 17%. Why we want to see this? We want to see this broken because this is a higher time frame trend line. And once these levels are broken, the sky potentially could be the limit. And if we go back into some macro crypto, again, we see the same thing here. This is the total crypto market cap. That's your Bitcoin, that's your Ethereum, that's your Solana, your XRP, your Hedera, your Algorand, everything mixed together. And if we see the same situation happening, which we do, we get MACD crossing, total crypto market cap. It's above the 200-day moving average. This diagonal trend line here has been broken. You get a lot of price consolidation, take off, another level where our volume shelf was. And our volume shelf essentially explaining that this is where a lot of the trading has been taking place right here. That all takes off, right? So if we go back into this time frame here, everything's broken. we're above 4 trillion, right? Right now, 3.98. At the time of this video, by the time you watch it, probably will be back above 4 trillion. So if we stay above 4 trillion, let's go to a higher time frame. What is next? 4.5 trillion and 5 trillion. White line here goes back to 2021. That was the peak of the market, and we were at 3 trillion. We break off, now we're at 4 trillion. That was $1 trillion in the last few years. But history has showed that you can get a lot more trillions inside of crypto. And with Bitcoin back above 115,000, that's this line I drew here, more money is flowing in and it's flowing faster. And then that again goes back to, Hedera. Okay. We got our macro looking great. We have our Bitcoin looking great. Ethereum's looking great. Total crypto market's looking great. We have adoption on Hedera with the Wyoming stablecoin for the most recent news. And this price chart looks beautiful on the weekly. And it definitely looks beautiful on the daily. So again, if we go zoom all the way out, we have, just to get back to these January levels, you got 65%. But Hedera, we know once we get a real crypto run, this is what I'm thinking. I got to make this a lot smaller. This is what I'm thinking, and a lot of analysts out there are predicting. Yep. And keep going right there. We can see a multi-dollar Hedera. Now, if we go over to coin market cap, go check out Hedera to add to the analysis that we just did on the technicals. Hedera in the last year is up 365%. Okay. 10 billion market cap. A 10x will put Hedera at $100 billion market cap. And that's not too crazy if you look at crypto. And what are all the $100 billion coins right here? We have multiple. We have BNB, we have Solana, if you want to count stablecoin, Tether, XRP, and Ethereum. And then you got the trillions with Bitcoin. What this means is we can get the whole cryptocurrency industry to go up another few trillion. $100 billion Hedera is not too far-fetched, in my opinion. And right now, 4 trillion is looking like a new bottom for cryptocurrency. Analyst Tom Lee says that Bitcoin could reach 200,000 by end of year. That's essentially a double of Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin is at 2.3 trillion right now, that's a $4.6 trillion Bitcoin. And that's putting the crypto market cap, which is Bitcoin doubling alone, at 6.5 trillion. But if we get a full crypto market, where's the rest of the trillions are going to go? They're going to spread out through the large caps, then eventually to the small caps. And that's why and how you can get a Hedera going crazy, and reaching levels we have never seen. Let me know what you think about this price prediction. Challenge me in the comments if you think I'm wrong. And if you agree with me, say, hey, see, Will, you got it. Until the next time, y'all. Peace.
Passive income. Gold in my dental. Thank God for my mental. Investor fundamentals. Told my girl it was simple.